So, different day today. I'm unfortunately busy on Saturday, so we will have a Friday afternoon stream or Friday evening. Yeah, basically we more or less pick up where we left off last week. So we are still building our Ocreeb 12 shortcut keyboard. Let me present you the current state of things. I lied a bit, so I built a little bit further. So in total we have, or I have 3 of those, and one I didn't finish it, but I put on the shell and I soldered on the switches. So that's like basically how it looks. There's the LEDs on the bottom. Move it a bit up. So we have the LEDs on the bottom, and the switches are soldered in. Just need to be careful because I mapped some of those keys already. So yeah, that's basically where we are. Let me when I push it in, I mute the microphone. Here we go. So so basically the plan for today is I want to solder up one more of those on camera. I'll also quickly explain like where we got stuck last week. So we will solder one of them with the switches, and we will put on the shell. And then I kind of like did a lot of trial and error with those key switches because I want to print them. I want it to be like a fully printed thing. And there was some iterations on that, and I knew that it will take a bit of time. Hi Alex, keyboard time. I want to finish up today so that we can start the Switchfire next week. So there was a bit of trial and error with the keycaps. Like some went horribly wrong. So that's definitely failure. And generally, I think they are kind of okay. Like I played around with different sizes of the icons. I'm still not super happy. Like, yeah, this one had a little bit of a thing here. But I think they're definitely usable and they look okay. So yeah, just want to show how to print those, and I also want to try out 2 different ways of printing them. So what I did so far is I always printed the icon part basically first, and then I printed the keycap around it, and I want to do like, I want to try what happens if I like print, like switch it layer by layer, which will be more work with the 1 0. But maybe that helps a bit with the icon sticking to the bed, because sometimes it's like especially if you like small details, like it's always being knocked off. Yeah. Looks cool. I like the colors on the keycaps. Yeah. I mean, for the colors, yeah, I'm a bit limited. I don't have too much filament, so that is pretty much all the colors I have, to be honest. I do have like a sparkling blue, but it is reserved for like some wall decorations and stuff. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't like the combination too much, but it's functional. I call it functional. Cool. So yeah, where did we leave off? I'll just, like, this is already functional, so I can switch around. Where did we leave off? So last time we had a bit of issues with the LEDs, right? So basically what turned out to be the cause of that. So what I did is, I have something to point. So what it did is I replaced this logic level shifter first. So like maybe that's the problem. Because basically the thing was, what I figured out is that if I turned the knob here that controls the color, all the LEDs start to flicker in random colors. So basically I knew that like the ground and the power were fine because they had power. So it must have been something with the data line, and because the data is basically passed from one to the next and all 4 were weird, it must have been something in this area here. This week's switch key, next week's Switchfire. Exactly. I'm quite excited for Switchfire. It's sitting there since like a couple of weeks now, like slowly accumulating parts, and now everything is here. So I'm really excited to get started on that. But yeah, so basically I knew it was here. and then I replaced the logic level shifter because I wasn't sure if I like bridged the pins or something. No success. Then I changed the resistor, although there was like quite low likelihood. I also switched the capacitor, although I'm not quite sure if that does something. Then in the end I switched the LD, and that worked. While unsoldering the old LD, unfortunately I broke the pad up here, which is the data pad actually. So I now had to run a wire from the first to the second LD. But yeah, like all 4 LDs work now. So if I grab a cable and let it quickly, like it always takes like 4, 5, 6 seconds before it becomes like ready and alive. But all LDs are now working at some point. Here we go. So all 4 are now working. And I also finished up the third board. You see there's another wire. Because idiot me soldered this LD on in the wrong orientation. And while I desoldered it, like I'm very bad at desoldering those LDs, I ripped off this pad down here. So yeah, same solution. I ran a jumper wire from the third to the fourth in this instance. But yeah, they're all working. And they're all working, so this is all fine, which is great. Like I was a bit concerned that I wouldn't get the LDs working, and you can't use it without the LDs, of course. So yeah, so basically I would say let's finish this one off. Then let's maybe look at the printing. I need keycaps for this one and for another one, so let's start printing some keycaps there. And what I also want to do, so basically you can, I mean you see it on the table here, like you can turn this knob here. Oh yeah, there are 2 firmwares. This one basically can only control the brightness. Oh, so it's always green. But there's a second firmware which I installed on this one. We'll put the same firmware on this one later. So once this is booted, like basically turning the knob, yeah here. So turning the knob, you see it changes the color of the light. Maybe. Here we go. So this changes the color. The problem is if you unplug it and replug it, it always switches back to the green it had like initially. And I don't like the green and I don't want to change it every time. So we'll need to work a little bit on the firmware on that to store the last color. And when you reboot the device to restore that. I'm not sure if we can manage to do that, but it would be would be cool if we can fix that. Cool. Then I guess let's solder some switches. Let's solder some switches. Let me get my soldering iron. So basically how this works is you first have to place it into the shell. Oh, now of course forgot to get screws. So basically, where's my? Here. So basically there are 6 screw holes basically where you mount the PCB into the case, which I of course forgot to set aside. Let me quickly grab my screw case. I'm responding to your question in a second, Alex. 1 second. So, what controller is used on these boards? So the controller is the red part here, and this is a KB2040 by Adafruit. So basically it's the Raspberry 2040 processor, which is also driving the printer, ironically. I guess it's a bit bored here, just being used for a keyboard. So it's the same chip, and then basically it's quite interesting. Like I'll show it in a second, but this mounts as a flash drive basically to your computer, and then you can just drag and drop Python files onto that flash drive. And when you unplug and replug it, or like restart it technically, I guess, it just grabs the new Python files and just executes those Python files. It's quite comfortable compared to like the OG microcontroller programming where you had like your programmer and then you had to flash it, and yeah, it was compared to that, it's much easier now. Let's actually just get it out. We need a teeny tiny, yes, CircuitPython. That's exactly what it is. I actually didn't know CircuitPython before that. And it's a first for me. Let's see. And it's just being screwed into plastic. There's no like heat inserts or something. Very, very, very basic. But yeah, it works. Like it just has to hold the PCB roughly in place. So basically, when we solder the switches in a second, we will solder them on the back side here, which is now visible. But the switches are put in from the front. So also the switches will anchor the PCB to the case. So after we solder switches, it's basically indestructible. There's also MicroPython. They differ in their target audience. So what's the difference then between MicroPython and CircuitPython? Like from a technical perspective, I guess both are running Python code on a microprocessor. Do you know any like benefits of one over the other, or it's just like whatever works on the board? Then let's put in some switches. So yeah, they really just pop in, which is super easy. Oh. This one had a bent pin. Yeah. Okay, you need to pay attention to the pins seemingly. I'm just checking that they're like poking out on the other side. And the board is super sticky from the flux. We definitely have to clean it up later. That's not nice. And the last one. Get the rest of the switches aside for now. So basically, you see like the little pins poking out now. They all look good. Perfect. Then I already turned on the iron. Sure, I have a bit of cable here. And what I also figured out like way too late. So last time I used this tip here, which is like a flat tip. No focus for me. I know you can do it. Okay, it doesn't want to focus, which is weird. Here we go. So now I have this like, I don't know how this shape is called. I don't want to get too close with my fingers. But yeah, it's like this tempered shape. And this one was the flat one. And this one is way better for like even for the SMD soldering. Like it's a tiny bit big, but it has way more like thermal mass, so like the solder melts way quicker. And I even soldering like the teeny tiny bits and pieces, like the resistors and everything, like was way easier using this tip than the other one that I used last time. That was one of the learnings, like soldering like the other boards. Yeah, so seemingly also for small things, big tip is advisable sometimes. CircuitPython is derived from MicroPython. It's a bit easier to update and run applications. I can't remember the exact difference. CircuitPython came after and is maintained by Adafruit. Okay, so Adafruit has their has things there. Yeah, it's also Adafruit chip, and it came actually with CircuitPython installed already out of the box. Oh no, it's a lie. We had to flash the UFP file. Yeah, we had to flash the UFP file. But it was extremely easy. Like it was, yeah, you plug in, and then like after I figured out you have to press this button, press and hold this button, and then tap this button. Then it reboots into the UFP mode. And it was like super simple to set up. So let's see. Always trying to like not breathe in all the stuff. Two more to go. So, yeah, the CircuitPython, it looks like a really cool system. Like, I mean, like the Arduino stuff was already like such a massive improvement from like the ease of use. But then you still were stuck like with C, C++, which was like, I mean, like it works. It's just like not beginner friendly, to say the least. I think they all look usable. I will touch up this one because there's a bit of a gap on the side, but the rest looks definitely good. Cool. That's it. Like this is like the easiest part. Now we have switches. Have you heard about the new Arduino board, the R4? Yes, I did. They switched from Atmel, right? It's not the Atmel processor anymore. It's now a it's an ARM processor now, but I don't remember the make. But it seems very interesting because like the Atmel processors, they're just like so like limited and slow. So it's definitely right decision. I mean, like the Arduinos, like the old ones with the Atmel, like they're just like dirt cheap. That's the main benefit they have, right? Like I have the, what is it called? Pro Mini, I think. It's like a very tiny small one, and I got them for like 150 per piece, and it's like way smaller than this. It's like this size or something, and for stuff like that, like it's really cool. But yeah, they're just like very weak. So I guess the last step is installing that cover here. that's printed from transparent PETG. And yeah, just snaps on. It's just a snap fit on the side. Break it. Yeah, and that's it. I actually ordered on Amazon like little like transparent like anti-slip feet, but yeah, they didn't arrive yet. Unfortunately, for some reason that takes forever for them to arrive. Yeah, then I printed those. They are height. Like I printed them in the original dimensions, and it was like they basically fell off. So I added like a very tiny XY compensation to make them a little bit like tighter, and now it's like they fit, but once they're on, they're not coming off. It's like a one-way street. So let's put them on. Like they feel very nice. It's also like quite hefty actually. Like once all the things are soldered on, etc. Like it's quite a it feels like top heavy. Like the bottom section is very light, but it's like quite a hefty chunky thing. Cool. I mean technically we can put some keycap on. But yeah, let's get started and print some of those. So this one will go to a friend of mine, and he sent me a list of icons he wants to have on there. So let me just quickly show you how I create those keycaps. Put the soldering iron back. So. Haha. I remember the Atmo being the first cheap MCU with a lot of peripheral and affordable for hobbies. Yeah, I mean like, even like, I can't remember like the first Arduino I bought maybe like 10 years ago. Does it sound about right? Like 2012, 2013, something like that. And even back then they were like pretty cheap. Like I think like if you didn't buy the original one, but like the cheap ones, also back then you got them for like basically nothing. And back then I didn't already get at AliExpress, so now like if you order them at AliExpress, like it's really dirt cheap. I do have a couple of original though, because I also wanted to make sure to support like the original, like the main company. I have I think like 2 Unos and like I can't remember how it's called. Like one, it has a Wi-Fi chip on it. And it's actually quite a cool thing. Like again, like it's quite weak, but it has Wi-Fi, so that's really good. Cool. So icons. So let me maybe first this. Yeah. So that's our icon list. So it's 12 icons, and basically, attention here, where I asked him to look them up is at fonts.google.com. This is like a massive library of icons, like massive. It's basically all the Google product icons are in there, like icons they use in their apps and products and web pages or that whatever. And it's actually quite cool because I mean now it's like kind of covered because wait, how can I do that? Yeah, you see it here. You can customize them, so you can have a fill, you can change the weight, and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. So you can like, it's not just static icons. You can like change them to how you want them, which for us in printing is quite cool because we can kind of like tweak them to make them more printable. So let's just, I wouldn't do all 12 right now. Let's just go for maybe for 4. So he asked for count circle, which is this one. So what I would typically do is, or like what I used to do is I put them up at 500 weight, that they're like a little bit like heftier. I mean, you can go for fill or not. I think it's more like aesthetic difference. And then I don't even know what grade is. Oh, that's also like makes it thicker or thinner. But I always use weight. Then basically click here, and then you see on the bottom there's the SVG download. And it downloads the SVG file for you. So that's basically step one. Let's quickly pick up some others. So we also want the mic. So let's get this one. And we want, I don't know, key. We want key. Here's a key. And we want video camera, I guess. Or let's do link. Link. So four icons. And then basically, I of course didn't look up printables. The link, but it's key. Like if you search for keycaps on printables. Okay, I have to quickly look it up. There's way too many keycaps. Oh, here they are. So there's this thing on printables, which is not quite what I want, but was the starting off point what I used. So basically, this creator here, he created 91 of those icons, and the icons itself I don't like. Like neither the optics nor that they are like they're 3D basically, like they're like extending, like the cap is printed like in the cap orientation like this, so the print bed is here, and then it's printed, and then like the black part's basically printed on top, so it's like standing out, which I don't like. But what he did is somewhere here he has a GitHub where he has his script which generates those keycaps. I also printed the keycaps. I do have them here. Wait. I think I have some of my, yeah. So this is one of those keycaps. So you see firstly like the, it stands out. And then this was impossible to print for me. So there was like, this is not the first iteration. So basically those like little studs here, like it's printed like this. So they have very little contact to the bed, and they always broke loose. So you see here, this one broke loose and like shifted around. Also, like in his design, they were basically going level with the bottom of the keycap, which caused the caps to sit like super high up on the keyboard. So basically it was like, if you look from the side, basically it was like a gap. So yeah, that's kind of like why I didn't like those. But I then basically modified his cap in Fusion. So firstly, mine are printed upside down. So this is the orientation they're printing in. And you see that I changed the geometry a little bit of those things. Like firstly, because I printed this way up, like they print on the base basically. So they have like, they don't shift around. They're quite stable. But I also changed the geometry a little bit. These are super loose, like even if they're like not printed like this, but they are a little bit like stiffer on it. It's still like, they're not super tight here. Like you can still pull them up quite easily compared to like proper keycaps where you need like a tool sometimes. But nevertheless, like this is like a design I'm quite happy with. So they're not sitting like as high up. So they're sitting like in the key, in this cavity basically. Whereas if, I mean, I can't put this one on quite. Yeah, but you see it like they sit up quite a bit higher. Or like this one is the modified one. So this should sit, wait, let me, do I have like the original one? Yeah, this one. I think this is this one is the original, like unmodified. So you see this one has a different geometry here. And yeah, this was like really horrible to print, like this like round thing. And you also see like it goes right up to the edge. So if you put this on, like it sits up way higher, and then like, yeah, it looks just weird from the side. Yeah, Alex, they are tactile. I'm not sure, like I'm not sensitive enough to feel that or like feel what icon it is, but they are accessible, I guess. It's an accessibility feature. Cool. So yeah, sorry, like this was like kind of like where they come from. So this is the script he had, and I modified that a bit. So what I changed, this is just a GitHub here. And there's this create Keycap Python, which uses the Blender Python SDK. The guy or the girl, I don't know, like they wrote that they have no clue about Blender and it's horrible. And I can sign off that statement. It's horrible code. But I also have no clue about Blender, so I made it more horrible. But basically how it works is like there's this make keycap function which gets the STL file of the keycap itself. It gets the SVG of the icon you want, and then the target where it's writing out the STL. And then basically what it's doing is like taking the magic, I have no clue, but it basically takes the SVG file and extrudes it up. So it's like, just like in Fusion, you would extrude the sketch. So it's extruding this icon. And then it's just placing that in the space basically, so that the icon dimensions are always 9 by 9 millimeters, and it's then centered on the keycap. So no matter what the SVG has, like it's always centered, which is really cool. So this is the original size, like 9 by 9. But I actually ended up, so yeah, maybe here, those two we can compare. So this is 9 by 9. Let me also just switch back. This is 9 by 9. And this is 6 by 6. So I went for the 6 by 6 route. Knowing that this makes it more difficult to print, of course. But I like it visually way more if they're like a little bit smaller. So that's what I changed. I changed it from 9 by 9 to 6 by 6. And what I also changed is I just changed the position. So instead of positioning the extrusion on top of the keycap, I moved it inside the keycap. And then I did this Google magic. So this makes a difference. So it just cuts out the icon from the keycap. I'm not sure if this makes sense right now, but I'll just show you how to use it. I will publish it and then it should be fine. I also have to pay attention because every time, like those keys here are mapped to numbers at the moment, which is kind of stupid. So every time I type something here, like it's typing numbers. I have to pay a bit of attention to not add random numbers to my Python script. Cool, so that's the script. You don't have to do anything there. What you have to do is there's this SVG folder here. And that comes when you clone the repository with some things. Oops. But we can just copy those SVG files we just downloaded. And we quickly do that. So you can just copy them in here, in this SVG folder, and then you can just run the script. There are some instructions on how to install that. I did not prepare a terminal. I know that's possible here in the terminal. Here we go. So basically how you have to set up Python everything, but then basically you just say Python 3.10 main py. Like I followed the instructions step by step. That's how it works. And you just run the script and basically it takes all the error. Amazing. SVGs. Oh, I have a typo in my name of the folder. SVGs. So then you basically just run that and it takes all the SVGs from the SVGs folder and it creates STL files in target. They have the same name, just with STL at the end, basically. So if we just quickly, we have 1, 5, 3, Wait. Here. So if we just quickly look on those STL files in the target folder. Oh, you can't see that. Okay, then let's open that in Crucial Slicer. Okay, so if you look at those, you see like the icons are like sticking out a little teeny tiny bit. If I didn't do that, I had issues with Blender like screwing up the keycaps. So here's how I print them. A very specific order of actions. First, you import them. It will look like this. Then you order them, or like you align them. Wait, it's even wrong. You first rotate them. You flip them upside down, 180 degrees. Then you align them. And then what you do, which you don't see it right now. Wait, let me quickly. Let me show you. Doesn't collide with the icons that you already printed. But for now, the important part is the custom G-code. You need to remove your print start and your print end. So what I usually put here, that depends on your stuff, but I just put it to front. That the printer, like the printer moves to the front. It's macro I have to move to the front. And this is basically all there is. So there's no start G-code. There's no end G-code. It's just the front for me to move it away, but that's all. And then basically we prepare the printer. So if you go to your printer, firstly you home the printer. Let me actually move the camera to show the printer. Maybe like this. So you home the printer and you preheat the printer manually. So I just put it to 55 degrees for the bed and 215 degrees for the hot end. That's the temperatures for my filament that I use. So it's important. Wait, let me. So yeah, I just preheat. And then we can print that icon. Let's just quickly wait for that to pick up temperature. like, as you can see here, like it took me quite a number of attempts to get that somewhat right. Not claiming like perfection or something, but that's how it worked quite well for me. So we will print like this set of icons. My friend requested them to be black and white, which is, I think, quite boring, but yeah, you know, everyone their own. So we'll have white icons and then black keycaps. So it basically will look like this. Maybe. Oh, why do you switch to manual focus? This lens is a bit weird sometimes. So this will be how it looks. So we are at 50 degrees for the bed out of 55. Let's do a little bit more. Now what we can do is we can do a nozzle purge, which actually we should add. Let's add that to the G-code script. So the start G-code script will have nozzle purge. Let's just add that. That makes it easier. Okay, cool. Then I guess everything is heated up. Let's give it like another minute to just stabilize a bit. Oh yeah, let's just upload and print. So this is not only the icons. Let me see. I still have a little bit of trouble with my Z offset. It's pretty random. That comes most likely from my lead screw issue that's still persisting. I have one of those faulty Teflon lead screws. Let's see. Looks quite okay so far. Let me actually. Oh. Didn't go to the front. Let's drop that down. Yeah, okay. I think now it's a bit weirded up. Oh. I mean, they look okay. I can't show it to you closer, but they kind of look okay. That looks quite okay. So then basically now we just swap the filament out, which is required a lot for this process. So let me just show you a little bit of the process, I guess. But yeah, in the end, you just pull it out. Oh, including the stringing. Amazing. Yeah, let me actually put it on the spool on the back. God. Ideally, you create less of a mess. What I often do is actually like the color for the icon. I just let it dangle on the side, like the spool. I just put it on the side and just feed it directly. Because it's so little material for the icons. Yeah, it doesn't really like pull a lot of material, so you can just let it sit there. Maybe I should get around to the other side. It would make it a lot easier. this way, and then feed it in. No, I don't use any macros or something to swap the filament. I did it so often now. I just found this to be the most efficient way to swap it. Cool. So now we carefully remove the skirt. I always like printing skirts here so that the nozzle is properly primed by the time we needed to print something properly. So now basically all we do is we hide the icons and we show the keycaps. And then you see that the icons are basically cut out here. So now here's the important part. If you go to print settings or printer settings, and then to extruder, you need to set the lift Z to 0.7 or technically 0.5 is enough. I add a little bit of margin of error. And then in push size, what I usually do is above 0, you have to do it right away because otherwise it's crashing into the icons when it's moving from one side to the other. But below you can set to 0.5. So basically over 0.5 it will just move directly, but between 0 and 0.5 it will do the Z lift when it's traveling to another point. So basically this just prevents it from not crashing into the icons we already printed that are still on the bed. Now it's also important here why we don't have any print end or print start macro. The printer is still configured for printing. It didn't lose its position and you must not move the bed obviously. Okay, so let's just slice that and upload and print. And now it's just doing the nozzle purge and then it's doing the skirt and starts printing the keycaps. A nozzle cam for that would be so cool. I hope my Z offset is somewhat okay. It looks okay. Rather too low than too high, which is it's okay. Oh no, we knocked it over. So this one is gone. This one is gone. It's one of those moments I'm always too lazy to finally properly set up the extrude object, and then you need it and then you don't have it. That's fine. I think we can just continue printing this excellent piece there. Yeah, it's sticking to the bed. It will just be ugly. The microphone also doesn't look good. Didn't it take the... That's odd. We also hit the microphone. Okay, let's do 1 or 2 more layers and just check how they look. But we definitely have to start over, which is always quite painful because now we have to move back to the white filament. But I'll just let the white filament sit on the side so we don't have to pull off the spool every time. We already prepared it a bit. Nip off the end. Yeah, I guess we can stop it. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, so here we knocked over, I don't remember which icon it was, but yeah, we clearly knocked it over. But this one looks fine and the key looks fine. Let's just carefully pop them off. Oh, it's the account icon. Okay, so for some reason the account icon and the microphone are a complete mess. I wonder what happened there. But the other two look kind of okay. Why not just Z offset now? I think my Z offset is not too terrible actually. Like, the problem with my Z offset is it's like a little bit random. Like, you can tune it in and then you do like one print and it's different. And like sometimes it's different by like half a layer. Like it's not like a little bit different, it's like massively different. I'm not quite sure. The layer 1 height is 0.2. And then the other layers for this profile I made 0.1 because I wanted to have like pretty. But yeah, like the Z offset, like it changes by print and day. I'm pretty sure it has to do with my nut. Like, the problem is there's a lot of play in here. And I think it has to do with that drifting over time. That comes from the Teflon nut problem I have. Like, you see it also. Yeah. You see it here. This is my palm nut slowly dissolving, and this is the second palm nut. Try 0.25 for the first layer with texture sheet. Yeah, actually for other for other profiles I use 2.8. I'm not quite sure. I might even use 2.8. Let's quickly check in a second. But yeah, basically we have to kind of start over. So how I usually do that, I just unload that, like not fully. So I just pull it out. And it wants to be pulled out. And just put it to the side here. And then I just feed in the icon color. Because like for the icon color, it's so little material that it doesn't really matter whether the spool moves freely or something. Let me just show you from here. So I just load it like this, and now it's just hanging there, and then the spool I just put over this like lamp here. Yeah, but that's fine, like in technically can turn, but there's enough filament slacking around. Okay. Sure to get all this stuff out here. Let's quickly check the first layer. That's actually a good thing, Alex. So for the print settings, first layer height 0.3. So yeah, I guess it counts. So 0.3 is the first layer height, and then the following are 0.1. So that should be fine, but I think we can squeeze it a bit more. So if we now do that again, so I just basically reverse what we did. So we put the Z lift back to 0.1. So we just slice the icons again and print that again. But let's push it down a little bit more just in case the icons came loose. Man, there's like this white. For some reason, the white filament is stringing a bit. I have like massively long strings of white filament like all over the place. Okay, upload and print. This will always like start off right away. So let's just squeeze it down a bit. So let's just, I'm at minus 0.10. Let's just go down minus 15. Just to squeeze it a bit more. I could also like slow down. It's quite like it's a 1-0. It's fast, but like for those like super like teeny tiny bits, I always like it to be slow. Oh, yeah. I know why it's not moving to the front, because there's a 9. I have to pay attention with my shortcuts. That's something we need to fix as well. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Let me just move it to the back. I can show you how this looks. This looks okay. So let's continue to phase 2. Like it's always quite high risk, or like not risk, but it's like trying again is. Why is it? This lens is weird. Like it's constantly switching to like manual focus. I'm still not sure if I keep the camera here or whether I move it back. I feel like the picture quality is nicer, of course, and as this is kind of like the primary camera, so to say. Like, I mean, this one doesn't really matter. Like, it's more important to see what I'm doing, I guess. The lens I'm using here is like it's a super cheap lens. I know I think Nero used the same lens for his camera for quite some time, and he hated it, and I can confirm it's terrible. It's super cheap. Cool. So this is all set up. So if we go back to the slicer, we just redo exactly the same steps. It's a bit annoying. There might be a way to do that smarter. But here we go. That's just doing its prime nozzle prime thingy. Oh, there's a random white string. And you see the Z-hop, how it's doing the Z-hop. See? We did not yet knock it off, I think. I can't see it, so it will be like a surprise. It's way easier for me to see here on my preview. I guess this looks good. Oh no, we butchered the profile icon again. Wonder what's the problem with that one. Like why it's crashing into that all the time. Yeah, for the microphone and all the others, it's fine, like it's moving around. But the profile, it doesn't like. For some reason, it doesn't seem to stick very well. I mean, like I am struggling a little bit with the PLA for some reason. Like, I think I told you about it at some point. Like, I have problems with PLA sticking on this print bed. At the same time, like ABS sticks like crazy. Like ABS, I actually have to pay really close attention to Z offset, and like I rather print the Z offset like higher right now with ABS, because with ABS you barely get it off sometimes. I'm not quite sure what the problem there is with PLA, because it used to be fine, I guess. But yeah, I mean it works. It's not like the keycaps fall off or something. But I think also like the icons are very, very sensitive to like as soon as they're like knocked on, the tiniest bit they're off. I think I have the same plate, and Polymer sticks very well. Yeah, I mean I'm not sure. Like I cleaned it with like I actually swapped it around. Like this is the new side. I printed ABS on the other side. On the other side, PLA is absolute no-go. As I flipped it, and now it's kind of fine. I cleaned it with like dish soap, and I actually cleaned also with IPA, what you're not supposed to do on those sheets. But yeah, I mean it's not warping or something. It's just like if it hits the icon flies off. Let's see. Yeah, from here on, it's a rather standard print. Let's see. What's ETA on that one? So the ETA is 16 to 18 minutes. So I would say let's maybe check out the RGB. That we have the constant RGB. I don't want to rob you of the print view. I have to find my OSEC sheet. What is the OSEC sheet? I don't know what the OSEC sheet is. Am I missing something amazing here? I mean, it looks cool. It looks fancy. What's the benefit of that? Oh, that is expensive. That is expensive. Like the PI sheets are, I think, like if you buy like the good ones, are like 20-ish. Let's see. Let me know if it's good. If it's good and stuff sticks to it and looks nice, then that might be a good investment. It's nice to know that it is something that exists. Like that satin finish is definitely nice. Cool. But then let's quickly check the firmware. So if I open file, open recent CircuitPy. No? One second. How can I? How can I make that come in this window? Here we go. That was the harder than it should be. Okay, so that's basically the code on the keyboard. So there are two problems I want to tackle. So firstly, it's the LEDs. So the LEDs shouldn't, or like should return to their previous color. And the other thing I want to tackle is that for some reason, it's still showing up as a removable drive, which is a little bit annoying because every time I unplug the shortcut keyboard, I get this message like, oh, you didn't properly eject the volume, which is a bit annoying. And I just remember, because looking at this here, so technically what this should do is if you hit like one of the buttons, it should mount as a drive. And if that button is not pressed while you plug it in, basically, it should not show up. So that's one thing we need to check. But let's just start with the RGB stuff. And I don't know where that is or how that works. Like, it's the first time I'm really looking at this code. But I see RGB here, so that's great. And I see hue default, which is 80. I printed most of my V0.2 parts on the 2.4 with this sheet. It has a very good adhesion and a nice starting surface. Oh, cool. But is it like durable, or does it like wear off easily? Because I saw the Creality K1 has also like a satin smooth print surface, I think. And there they tell you need to use glue as a separation layer, and it's wearing off quite quickly. So is that sheet like stable, or does it like wear off over time? So I know the volume thing is a CircuitPy feature. Yeah, it is a CircuitPy feature, but exactly this should remove the drive. Like, it should not mount as a drive. So we kind of want to de-feature it to remove that. So far it's doing good. Okay, let me know like in a couple of weeks how it is, but it looks really, really nice. I definitely want to have like a smooth surface for this one as well, because I mean like the textured surface is nice, but sometimes I also just want to have like a glossy part, or like not glossy but like smooth. Cool. Okay, let's see. So basically what I would like to try now is basically if I change this 80 to something else, for example, like, I don't know, 150 or something, I have no clue. Then it shouldn't like launch with the green. Like right now, it doesn't fit green camera in the thing, but right now it's green whenever you start it. Let's just change this to like 120, save that, and this is now like changing the file on the drive. So now if I... Oh, it did it already. Interesting. I think it did it already. It changed. Oh yeah, cool. Let me quickly steal the print from you. But it's now green, right? So if I change it now here to 120 and save that, it takes like a second. More than a second. But now it's blue. So this is definitely like the right thing to change. So that's one thing. And then the RGB is used there's this RGB encoder, which is like the encoder, I guess. But then the question would be, where is like when the encoder changes, how does that update? Because basically what we need to do, right, like whenever the encoder, like when the caller changes, we need to save that to disk, and then when we start, instead of having like a static number here, we need to like read from disk what the last caller was. So somewhere the encoder and the light need to be connected. So there's the RGB encoder A and RGB encoder B. I'm not quite sure, but it's most likely it's like rotating counterclockwise and clockwise. Let's see, what is in here? No RGB here. And I mean, boot, no RGB here. So it's really like the only RGB stuff. I have no clue what this is. This seems to be something with a key map, so we shouldn't touch that, I guess. Okay, let's start by maybe just checking how do we save things in CircuitPython. CircuitPython save file, I guess. I mean, I have no clue what I'm doing here. The storage module in CircuitPython enables you to write code that allows CircuitPython to write data to CircuitPy drive. This process requires you to include a bootpy file alongside your code file. Okay, we kind of have that, I guess. So we import storage. If the switch pin is connected, can write to drive. Alright, this already is... I have no clue what's going on here. The search rewind command has a read-only keyword argument. This argument refers to read-write state of the circuit file. That seems to be already like too much for what we want, to be honest. Save value. Yeah, that's what we saw already. Maybe I should have looked up a little bit how it works before. You can only have either your computer edit the CircuitPy drive files or CircuitPy. You cannot have both write to the drive at the same time. Bad things will happen. Okay. So that will complicate things a lot. Because basically at the moment, whenever you plug it in, it always is mounted to the computer. That's one of the things we need to fix. Then maybe it's best to fix that first, that when you plug it in normally, it doesn't mount to the computer, so that CircuitPython can write the caller to the file system. It's just a bit weird because I expected there to be like some like persistent memory, basically, you can just write stuff to. But maybe this is just used for the file system. Maybe it's just used for the file system. persist value. Non-volatile memory. Yeah, maybe that's better. The NVM module allows you to store whatever raw bytes you wish in a reserved section non-volatile memory. Maybe that's already what we need. I see an int, which would be like integer number, which would be already good, right? So circuit Python NVM example. Do we have NVM here? Okay, there's something with NVM0. To store persistent state across reset. Yeah, that's exactly what we want, right? So this is NVM. Or between bootpy and codepy, and declare that the first byte of NVM will be the startup mode. Now, if you create multiple codepy files, you can switch between them based on startup mode. And how do we write that? How do we write that? It's a problem. Like this is how we access that. Can I just assign that? Let's see. You're looking for examples. Four not found. Amazing. Let's not use external libraries. Huh. It would be nice to just be. Here they do that. Okay, so basically it's just import microcontroller, just like the other thing. Let's see, do we have that here already? No. Okay, wait. So we just do import microcontroller, and then microcontroller.nvm. I have no clue what I'm doing here. And then basically just we say 0. So this would be like our value, right? So we can just assign that to 80, for example, and then we just say default hue is microcontroller.nvm0. Now basically later we just shouldn't do that here, but whenever the color is changed. The question then is just how do we know whether it's written or not? Like at some point we need to set a default value. Byte array is available, available on these boards. Also would be important. I think we have a KB 2040, so it's available on our board. So that's amazing. Oh man, it's a lot of boards. This is reloads and power cycles. Each assignment causes a race write cycle to be assigned all values to change one. So the question is how do I know whether the value is there or not. Like, is it initialized to zeros, or is it like, I mean, we can say, oh, the print is done. Let's quickly check it out. For some reason, the shortcuts don't work anymore. Let's see. So let me just quickly. Wait. I have to lower the print head, or like the bed in this case. For some reason, I can't type numbers anymore. It is. Oh, Moonbreaker died. Oh, you don't see it, but it's loading. Okay. Then let me pull off the caps. Oh. Let's see. No, you're not too bad. Not too bad, but not perfect. So I think the key looks really good. I think we can give it a little bit more depth. Like there, you see the lines a little bit shining through. Yeah, this side can't be reached. Yeah, I noticed. The key looks good, but the others are a little bit poop. Like this one, I guess it's serviceable, but it's not great. Yeah, like they're just not nice and sharp. That's a shame. Like this one looks really nice. You know, like there's no like white spilling in parts it shouldn't be. But yeah, I guess it's okay as a demo. So yeah, I'll keep them like that for now. Just know that if you try more than once, they will come out better. And they are functional. Like it's serviceable. Like they're not perfect, but like the key I really like. But the others, like, you see there's like a little bit like the white is spilling in areas it shouldn't go. But yeah, it's definitely like, even though if I sit here, like it looks okay. So, but yeah, this is how you print them. Cool. Then let's try to figure out. Shit, yeah. Thanks, Alex. I lost the audio. You know what? There's a button here to mute. And seemingly my microphone was muted. Thank you for letting me know. I hope it wasn't gone for too long. Let's see. So there's incremental encoder. That's not what we have, right? We have encoder handler. No, there's also no encoder. I wonder. So there's this library here that takes care of all the keyboard stuff. See here, KMK modules encoder. And KMK is this keyboard library, I think. So this comes from there. Let's. Oh, you didn't see it. Sorry. But so this encoder handlers from KMK modules encoder. So this doesn't come from CircuitPython itself, but from this like keyboard library. Let's see. So we can KMK. Let's see. I'm looking for encoder handler. I see encoder handler here. Well, it's just a different usage of that, right? So basically we say like it just maps it to different things. Volume down, volume up, and mute, I guess. It's weird that there's no documentation for that. Maybe we're just looking for the wrong thing. But here's mapped to RGB HUD, HUI, toggle. Like toggle is on off. And I guess it's just like changing the color. So the question would be, we need some kind of trigger to assign that NVM value here, right? There must be some documentation for that library somewhere. Let's see. Encoder module. Enabling the extension. That's done, I guess. How to use. So we have the handler and then the handler pins. Regular direction encoder and a button. Reverse direction encoder with no button handling and divisor of 2. Okay. This doesn't really help me. It's resolution, so basically if it's like too fine granular or something. Handler methods overrides. That looks something like we want. So we have pin A and B and ground, okay. Encoder handler pins. I've just no clue what's going on here. That's a bummer. Seems like we can't really access that encoder. I don't see a way to like intercept that. I mean, what we could try, because this is like using like pins, keyboard RGB A and keyboard RGB encoder B. Oh no, my chat connection died. Something's up with my network. I'm not sure if I'm streaming or not. Everything seems offline. Marlin works, but YouTube can't be opened anymore for me. It says it's streaming. That's odd. What's going on? First the printer offline? I mean, it would be boring if I would have a stream without technical issues, right? Yeah, I can open web pages, so I assume I'm streaming. Fun. Ah, now it's back. Super weird. So it said like my chat window said chat connection lost, and then I reloaded it and it said like, oh, can't connect to YouTube. Cool. I'm streaming. Thank you, Alex. Let's see. Cool. So my thinking was maybe we can use, because we have this pin here in some form, maybe we can detect when the pin changes. And then basically whenever the pin changes, we just store the value. It's more difficult than I thought it would be. Like I expected there would be like some function where you can like say, hey, do something. Let's see. Yeah, but it says on move do, on button do. The question is like, how do I, oh, sorry, you don't see it. So this looks like what we need, right? Handler method overrides, on move do. But it's only mention, and I'm not quite sure how to. There's not a lot of like results. Here, self on move do none. Maybe it's then an coder and handler on move do, but then I don't know how to define a function in Python. like this. Oh god, sorry, I didn't switch. So I just did this. So encoder handler on move do. The question is then, how do we define that? I guess we can say def store RGB. Something like this, and then like this would be like, we need to get the number from somewhere. And then here we can assign store RGB. I guess this would work. And then the question would be like, how do we get the current RGB color? So basically, my idea is like basically whenever you have this callback, you store the current color, like the current hue. RGB comes also from the KMK. So let's see if we find something about that. I'll just leave it open here. RGB. Yeah, so we have, this is what we have. Let's search for hue. Yeah, these are the key codes that are defined, like hue should increase, decrease, hue increase, hue decrease. Okay, makes sense. Hue step. So we can set this one, and we can set a hue default, which is what we do. And we have set an increase. We have RGB off and show, okay, but RGB hue, yeah, sets. But I guess we can also get that then. let's just try rgb.hue. So basically, whenever we do that, we just do, let's define RGB above, and we just say rgb.hue. Not sure if that works. I mean, I have no clue about Python, by the way. Like, I'm really bad. Python. Oh, I saved it already, so it should flash it, I guess. I have no clue how we would get like console output or something if it doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't do anything when I turn it. Not sure if that means that it's like, maybe I broke it. Let's see what. Oh shit, I forgot again to switch. So this is how it looks now. So basically I have the store RGB, which says rgb.hue assigns to this like non-volatile storage. And this is done on move do. So let's see if we find, I mean, now it's broken. So the circuit Python debug. How do we do it? Or like output. That would already be enough, right? Logs. Using a logger. Okay. Is storing enough? Don't you have to apply it somewhere? Well, I do apply it, right? I do apply it initially. So this is run like initially when the controller boots up. Oh, you don't see it. My bad. It's behind the chat. But this is where I apply it. So basically, initially, the hue default is set to that. And then basically, whenever you turn the knob, that's my idea, like you store the current hue, which might be the one before the turn or after turn. I'm not 100% sure about that, but details. Like, I mean, now it doesn't work anymore. So that didn't help. So let's just try to like comment this line out and see if it's coming back alive. Yeah, now I can turn it again. So this line breaks it. Then let's figure out whether if it's the storing here or if it's the callback function. It should switch to red when it rebooted. Yeah, now it rebooted. Okay, so the callback function breaks it. Then the question is, can we figure out whether the function is called? Because maybe now that we have this like function defined, like the default thing just doesn't work anymore. So let's just say RGB hue equals 100 when this function is called. So basically that would mean if I turn now the knob, it should switch to like some blue-green-ish something. Maybe you overwrite the original. Yeah, that's what I think. Like maybe I overwrote the original. No, not that. Okay, so setting this like callback function seemingly breaks it. Let's just do return there, just an empty function. Let's see. No. Okay, so as soon as I set that, it's game over. I mean, it would be helpful if I see an error message or something. But I don't think there's any logging or something. Yeah, see, now it works again. So as soon as I set that, it's game over. And it's also like not assigning. Like I wonder if there's something else I can do that I know that works. Does the call function require a parameter? Yes, that could be it. Let me just add an X. It's a good one. Maybe it's direction. No, still not. But that's a good one. Let me see. Like if they mention something. I mean, here they just set it to none, but it's not really clear where they use it. But maybe on move do. Let's see. So here they set it to none. Is not none for E. Yeah, there's one parameter, self get state. But there's also no else. So like just because we set that doesn't mean that the original handler doesn't do anything anymore, right? Like then there would be like a return or else or something here. So it leads me to believe that maybe how I assigned it here is a syntax error in some way, shape, or form. The question is then just circuit Python C errors. There must be like some way to like see errors, right? Like a circuit Python development continues and there's no reason Alfred will stop supporting this. Yeah, whatever. That's a little bit like too specific already, right? We just want to see like a Python error message. Let's see. I mean, I just want to stack tracks, basically. Let's see. I mean, we could do try catch. I was like this, right? Except what we could do is like we can assign it to green. So if this throws an exception, we assign it to green on the next start. Let's see. Let's do it like this. So we communicate in color codes. Oh, I always forget to switch. Sorry. So I just added try except and then like restore it to 80 and I try to assign 80. Right, this doesn't seem to have helped. Let me just comment out this entire block here. See if the color changes. It does. So then basically we know there's no exception necessarily. But as soon as I assign it, it doesn't work anymore. Let's try this again. If we just set the hue to 100 whenever something comes in. Does it should... No, it's red again? No. Do we need a second parameter? Also not. Let's see, they're more... During boot up. So they do assign that. Let's see, maybe we can copy that. Because they also call a function here then. Self, we don't have a self, ID state. They call here self on keyboard. I don't know where the keyboard is coming from. Ah, here, keyboard. Bound ID X comes from here and then X. Okay, let's just copy that over. And let's just assign that. I mean, knowing Python would help. So bound IDX equals IDX. I don't know. Oh, now it's green, so there was an exception. Yay! So we know that works. Green is exception. Assume it tripped over the cell. Let's just call this on move do. And then the keyboard we don't have, right? So it's bound IDX and X. Let's just do it like that. Let's save. If it stays green, then we still have an exception. If it turns back red, then it rebooted, I guess. Yes, we are still an exception. Well, it's good to know that this works. Let's change it to 100 though. Oh, we also saved it to green now. So green is not a new base. Because it's like in the default, it's not always green. Let's see. I mean, like, if you would just see the error, that would be massively helpful. Let's quickly see if the printer is back. No, the printer is not back. Okay, weird. But yeah, after this is not going anywhere. Let's just try again. So if we comment it out, save, then I mean it will now stick in green because we saved that to the NVM. Yeah, see, now it works again, but whenever you reboot, it will go to green instead of the red. So that works. It's great. We just have to find a way to like save it. Okay, let's see. In our case, we need to define keyboard and encoder ID for callbacks. I mean, this is a lambda function which has x and bound idx, which equals idx, which I'm not sure where idx is coming from. Here, it's for idx. It's up here. But it basically means that there's only one parameter to this lambda function, which is x. That's how I read it now. Maybe let's try the following. So I keep the hue at 200 here in case of error. We remove the bound idx, and here we just say RGB hue is 50. Can I do that? Not sure if I can do that. So, I don't think that is correct syntactically. But maybe we can just say on move do like this. I'm not giving up. So this is like kind of what they have there. Nothing changed. So we don't have an exception, but we also don't have success. I mean, we can like force an exception for a second. Now it should change to some other color, 200. Yeah, purple. Okay, so this works. So RGB.hue equals something assigns the color. Now it goes back to green when it restarts. Yeah, so I mean that works. So the question is just why does this onMoveDo function doesn't do what it's supposed to do. I wonder where this new encoder is coming from. What happens if we remove this handler map? Nothing. Okay. Do they do something here? So they say, oh wait, sorry. They say layer ID left key index 0 else key index 1. So X is the state. So state direction is -1 or 1. Okay, cool, perfect. But and then they say, I don't know what they do here, but there's nothing specifically done in this function. Let's see. Maybe we find something else. But it's this page where we were. That's the only reference here. Yeah, that's where now we're back. Oh, we are back where we started. Yeah, it has one parameter. I'm sure if my syntax is wrong or something. It shouldn't, then it wouldn't work at all. There's no exception. We know that there's no exception here because otherwise it would change to the purple. And it doesn't change to purple, so there's no exception. Not a shame. What we could do is there's the onButtonDo function. And it also has one parameter. So what we could do is, let's just say onButtonDo. Yeah, that still turns it on and off. And you can still turn it, so at least this doesn't break. This doesn't break anything. Oh. What happens if we say none, none, none for those? So we just remove that assignment, basically what it's supposed to do when you rotate it. Well, nothing happens. I guess now it's just that. I wonder why it's still doing this. Like it turns on and off the color when you tap it. Let's see, let's just restore the original state again. Okay. Yeah, fully functional. This is weird. So I mean, like the function or like the syntax of this statement here must be correct because we do not go into accept. And what we didn't try is like what happens if you like now you can type numbers, right? So what happens if we do this? Like the question would be like, does it like completely crash? Let's wait for green. No, it's green. It's still typing. Yeah, it's still typing and everything. So it's only the rotation that's broken. It's only the rotation. Which is a bit odd. But there's really like no like examples or something. I mean, here they just wrap it in this lambda function, right? I mean, they have two parameters here, but they default one. So maybe what we can try is to have like something like that. That we say like, yeah, we have two parameters, but the second one just defaults to none, like it's optional. No. No, it also doesn't help. I just quickly copied it over again. So this is what they do. And we can just say IDX is 2, whatever. We don't have self. Now we have 3 parameters here. Keyboard we don't have. There's the keyboard. Okay, let's see. So we have a keyboard, we have the bound IDX, and we have X. Nothing. Same as always. Let's just see if it completes that block. And it should like have now a different color than green. Yeah, now it's orange. So it does that. So this completes. This definitely completes. I have just no clue about Python. But I don't think it's a problem with like how we call that. No, that doesn't seem to be a thing. No, okay. But it shouldn't also matter if we call a function there or not. We can check if there's an exception in here. Nothing. Okay, let's approach it from a different... Man, it sucks. Like, I don't want to stuck at this, like, stupid thing. Let's give it, like, another 10 minutes. And if there's no solution 10 minutes, then let's do something else. Okay, let's see. Circuit, Python, C, logs. Like, there must be something to see logs of the program. Well, it's like logger. Circuit, Python, C logs. Like, I don't want to log myself, I just want to see. This is all nice, but it's not what I need. The logs must go somewhere, right? So. Where do I see that? Okay, how is that here in the terminal? But how? There's some CircuitPython thing going on there. But how do you do that? That's the important part. Like how do you get that there? VS Code CircuitPython. Man, that sucks. CircuitPython. Let's see. Let's install it. Aha! Let's see. If I just restart that, something show up here now. Let's comment it out. Okay, now that works again, but nothing here. I mean, something happened there. No. I mean, he uses the logger thingy. But I'm not sure if this helps us now, because like nothing is being logged here. And while it sucks, but like we can communicate via caller. So having a log line there doesn't really help us, right? Like something goes wrong here and like it doesn't tell us what goes wrong there. So it's not helpful to log now. Do we need to choose a board here? KB 2040. Okay, I'm not quite sure about that. Oh, the board restarted. Oh, sorry. I need to fix it. So I selected the board down here and the serial port. Now things popped up. Aha! Ha! Well, fascinating. There's something. Oh, encoder handler object. Before matrix send, function takes 2 position arguments, but 3 were given. Okay, now we're talking. Yeah, we take, no. Let's remove all arguments here to see if that is Okay, but now at least we see what's up. Okay, so if I turn now, function takes 2 positional arguments, but 3 were given. But I'm not sure if this is now in our code. Before matrix scan. Okay, let's see. I mean, the code must be here. So if we just search that, a lot of hits. Okay. Do we see encoder here? Encoder. Function takes 2. What happens if we just say x equals none here? So now it's technically taking 3 or 2? Huh, but here's the on move do and the on button do. Interesting. That's basically the code we're looking at in the browser. Still the same error. Ironic. Trying to save the RGB light between reboots, but it's not going fun. I mean, like it's working. I fixed it up with all the LEDs. There's actually like a second one which has the same state, and a third one which also hardware-wise is working. So the issue was last stream, not sure if you followed, but like this LED was broken. I replaced this LED and afterwards it started working. So basically what I noticed is like when you turn the encoder wheel, all 4 LEDs would show like random colors. So I knew that all of them had power and all of them had ground. So it must have been something, or like the error must have been something with the data line. And then basically because it was all 4, I knew it must have been, or like the first one must be part of the problem. So I replaced that and then it worked. Here I broke, I solved this one on the wrong way and I tried to remove the LED and I broke the pad, so I had to run the jumper wire. But yeah, this works. They're all working. Not a problem, it's just like when you change the RGB and you unplug it and you replug it, the RGB is always reset. So I was like, hey, must be quite simple to store that. And we are almost almost there since half an hour. The problem is like we don't get a callback when this encoder is turned. And we get this beautiful error here, which I'm not sure if it makes sense. Well, most likely it makes sense, I just don't understand the sense. Let's see. So we added this one to make it 3, but that doesn't seem to fix anything. There must be this function, like before matrix scan in encoder handler. Let's see. What happens if we now remove our code again here? This is like the problematic section. If we remove that, it works. Let's see. Like it's reloading. Man, this is like such a like quality of life improvement. So now we turn this. Yeah, see, now it doesn't have the error. It just has processing timeouts. And the color changes, as you can see. If you push it, it turns it off. Okay, so if we put that back, I mean, it could also that it fails to call our function. What if we just add like a random third variable there? Third parameter. Oh, no. No, how do I get that back? Oh no, I don't know how to get it back. Debug? No, terminal? Well, I don't know how to get it back. Oh god. Well, that was a bad click. But it also didn't fix the issue. Oh, this is so frustrating. It's like one wrong click. It's gone. I don't know where to get it back. Do I have to run pyenv init? No. Oh. No, that's also not it. I was trying to run the Python file on my machine. Well, fun. Let me try to replug that. Maybe it pops up. Yeah, I don't know how to get it back. No, it's gone. It's like I really hate using VS Code sometimes. It's so incredibly cluttered with stuff. It's like it should be really simple to like bring this console back. But it's just, I have no clue where. And it just like popped up randomly after I installed the plugin. See? Maybe I have to uninstall and reinstall a plugin every time, because now it says here CircuitPy. But there's no way to get that. Okay, choose port. KB 2040, connect. Okay, I mean like now, when I rotate it doesn't freak out, right? Before I added the S none, like, and I rotated everything, it was completely freaking out. See? Exactly, see? So this arrow function takes 2 positional arguments, but 3 were given. So this seems to be fixed. This seems to be fixed then. Because now, after that change, I mean, it doesn't change the color, but it also doesn't freak out. It doesn't change the color, which is fair. Let's just do it to 10. Maybe 50 is what it has already. No. I mean, I guess it's a step forward. And we can try to crash it. If it runs this code, it would fail, right? So maybe there should something shown up. Yeah, it's running the function. It's running the function. SCF is not defined. So now it's running the function. Then the question is, why doesn't it apply the RGB hue? Because we know that it works, because we did it in the exception block, and when we trigger an exception there, that I would just assume that I wrote it and it jumps to 10, like to the orange. What we could do is we can maybe assign the 10 to that storage thingy. Let's do that. And then if we then reboot it and it initializes to orange, maybe it's not allowed to be written everywhere. Yeah, that's something I thought about as well. Like maybe it's like in the wrong state or something. So technically now I rotated it. So if we now save that, and now if it swaps to orange after the reboot, yeah. So that works. So that works. Then the question is, like, if we, I mean, that's the end goal we have, right? That's all we need. We need to sign, we need to get the hue value and save it to that NVM thingy. But now the problem is that with our callback, we broke the color change itself. Let's see, maybe the documentation has something regarding the RGB. I mean, now it's not an encoder issue per se anymore, because we have the callback function, right? So we can change the hue ourselves if needed. So maybe you can't change the colors anymore after a certain point. Oh. So if I take this, like there's this keyboard modules, keyboard keymap. So if I just try to set it at the end of our script, I mean, it should turn purple if it does that. Which it doesn't. So I assume that maybe after the keyboard go, it doesn't do that anymore. Yeah, see that it's doing. But after that go, like you can't change the hue anymore. Now it goes back to orange. maybe. No orange? Oh, why it's not stuck in purple? Thanks, Alex, for checking and helping. I hope I figured it out at some point. Let's see, if we do it here, like now it's just changed to like greenish, bluish. Yeah, so here it does that. If I do it now here to 200, it does that. And if I now do it after that, it doesn't do that. It's also interesting that it stays. Potentially we accidentally save it here. That would be possible. There's this logger thingy. Where did we have that? Circuit Python logger. We saw that. Let's do the following. So we just import that and then we just say logger info store whenever we stored it. I assume we accidentally just stored that value that was applied here. No module named Adafruit logging. Oh, that doesn't work. Let's see. I don't really want to download. Ah, it's an extra library. Okay, too bad. I don't know how to set it up. Okay, but we must save that. So the problem then basically becomes that for some reason we cannot change the hue anymore here. Let's see, so 10 is like orange. But it stays at purple, so. But we know we save. We know we saved that value we sign here. Oh God. Yeah. So it comes down to that we can't control the RGB in this callback for some reason that is unclear. I mean, we can search for hue and see. Yeah, so here's this RGB Python file. This is the object we create. I mean, there are set functions. What happens if we say RGB increase hue? We just call this function. Oh. Okay, like it doesn't know direction, but it's increased. So basically we can't assign the variable, we can only get it. Okay, but this is basically the last piece we needed, right? Because now, I mean, let's remove that weird thing here and let's remove the try accept. Okay, so basically when the keyboard starts, we take the last NVM value and set it as the default value. When the on move is done, we increase the hue and then we save the current value. So next time the board starts, it has the last value basically here. So now, all we need to do, and I saw that here, is this if. So we need to basically have the state. And if the direction is -1, I guess, we decrease hue, and otherwise we increase it. And the state comes in most likely here as state. Let's do it like this. So if state is not none, because we said here is none. Oh, it should already be there. Yes. So if I turn it clockwise, it changes, and if I turn it counterclockwise, it changes back. Okay, let's change it to something. Okay, we change it to this like hot pink here. And now I unplug it. And now I replug it. If it's now still fancy hot pink, we have a winner. We have a winner. Nice. So now basically you can change the color. You can change the color and it saves that hue value. And then when you like, next time you use the keyboard again, it keeps the color. Man, that took like way longer than it should have been. Okay, so the issue was that it was not clear that this lambda function needs 3 arguments. I mean, it's nowhere specified, and we didn't have the output at first, so we didn't see the error message. Seeing the error message helped. I mean, we don't need this. Let's quickly see if we need the default values. I assume we don't need that. I'm now not quite certain if it rebooted or not. I assume it did. Okay, I assume it rebooted. So most likely we don't need those default arguments. So if I now unplug that and replug that, then it should be still red. I mean, yeah, fairly soon. Yeah, okay, so this works. So it wasn't clear that this takes 3 arguments. I'm still not quite sure how, because we saw it here, and here it has 1, 2 arguments. This is the on move lambda, it has 2. Why we need 3, nobody knows. But that was the second issue, and then the third issue was that we cannot assign the hue value. You can only read the hue value. Assigning the hue value doesn't do anything. So we need to use the decrease and increase functions based on whether we turn the knob clockwise or counterclockwise. Success. Okay, so the only thing that's kind of left to do, but I'm not sure if I have the energy to do it today, is if we check. So basically the problem is that this drive, oh, I don't see the window I'm sharing. Where's this window? Okay, like you see it, like it shows up as a CircuitPy thing here. Like I don't know where this window is. Doesn't matter. But you see, like it shows up as a drive, and it's not supposed, or like I don't want it to show up as a drive every time I plug the keyboard in. And technically, this should be prevented by this code here in the boot. So we have this like disabled USB thingy. Let's see if we find something online for that. Let's time cap that for like 10 minutes. If we find in 10 minutes, perfect. If not, then I don't care. Let's see. So circuit Python do not show or do not mount drive. I'm just going to send the cross term that it can't be done at this time. Oh, closed. Same here. I would love to be able to re-enable circuit part drive in my keyboards when, for example, a certain key is pressed by reconnecting. Yeah. CDC and data, CDC and MIDI will all be talkable individually from bootpy. You will, okay, so it will be possible. Dynamic USB scripters. Storage, disable USB device. I mean, this kind of looks like what we have here. USB CDC disable. Equivalent to... I just don't know what USB CDC is. I mean, the USB MIDI is what we have hit. I just don't know what, like HIT is human interface device. So that's a keyboard, which we need. That's a bit dangerous. Because technically we can lock us out of that thing. I mean, there's storage disable USB drive. It's right there. So it should do that. So basically it checks D6, D7, I'm not quite sure. If this key is held during boot, don't run the code which hides the storage and disables serial. This will use the first row column pin. Feel free to change it if you want it to another pin. So if we don't press a key, it shouldn't do it. Like it should. If we press it, it should not do that. So it should show. But if we don't press it, and we don't, then it should hide it. So this doesn't work. So this doesn't work, clearly. I just don't know what this means. Diode orientation columns. I mean, most likely there's something wrong with this detection. So we know the function here is correct. The problem is, like, if I screw that up, we can't edit the code anymore, which would be a shame. I'm just not quite sure what D6 and D7 is on our board. Like 6 and 7 are outputs here. I know this much. Like 6 and 7 are those two, and you see they have like something connected. It's like a through hole here. So I assume they connect the columns and rows of those buttons. Not quite sure how that works. Okay, then I think I will not do that today. That's something most likely I should have a fresh hat. And this LD thingy was like way more difficult than I thought. But cool, like at least this is working. And that's more like inconvenience to have to drive there. I think it doesn't even complain. Like it doesn't show like a message like, oh, it wasn't properly ejected. So I'm not too bothered by it showing up for now. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to do for today. So we have like, yeah, I'll see like these, like it's way brighter in real life, and I ordered like little like rubber feet, so it sits a little bit higher up in the end. Like they should arrive next week. Maybe like this. So yeah, there's like nice underglow. But I don't like this color. I want it in. I wanted blue. So that is the shortcut keyboard. I guess I would do a cut now. There's not much left to do. So technically, like I will check that with the mounting the USB drive. That seems more like a bug than anything else. And then I need to fully configure that. So I mean, the idea is to use this for my streams here, of course. Show this. So these are basically, it should, yeah. So I kind of configured it already, but the problem is at the moment these are number keys, and it doesn't really work reliably. So yeah. So this is the desk. So there's this scene, then this one would go to the browser, and then these are like the different scenes. Like one is Pusher Slicer, is Visual Studio, and 2 is the file explorer. But you see, like it doesn't really like work reliably, and I think that is because it's like technically it's the num key, like the num key pad thingy, number pad. So it doesn't really work yet. And then this one goes to the Be Right Back, and this one also doesn't work, but this mutes the microphone. But let me try this one, which should end the stream. So thanks for everyone tuning in. And next week, we will start a new project. I will quickly, if I find the time to fix that issue, I will quickly come back to that. But next week, we will start building an Ender wire, Ender switch wire. So my Ender 3 Pro that I have since a long time will be rebuilt into a switch wire. I collected parts for the last week, and yeah, hopefully we'll inhale it some new life. Revonic, I know you also have a lot of trouble with your Ender, so maybe that's some inspiration for you. I will try to make like a full list of parts I purchased and things I had. I try to reuse as much as possible. So I will reuse the hot end, I will reuse the VL Touch, I will reuse all the motors. Which actually reminds me, I don't have a way yet to pull off the pulleys. And yeah, so I'll reuse most of it in the frame, of course. And I try to spend as little money as possible. With one exception, I actually ordered the deck panels as a laser cut thing. And that cost me 60 euros. 60 euros just for the panels, which is a lot. But I wanted it to be kind of nice. So I think that besides that, the part costs are like 250 euros roughly, which mostly is linear rails. A lot of cheap things like cables. I had like the fastener kits with all the screws and stuff was like 35 euros or something. But yeah, I'll make a full list, and then next week I think we just start by tearing down everything. So the goal is to have a switch wire with 2 extruders and multicolor. So that will be fun. Cool. Okay, then enjoy the rest of your Friday, and thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Let's see if it works.